All right, are we going? Awesome. All right, so you're gonna introduce yourself because that's what we do now on this the push with.
Well, I gotta introduce.
That's I have a concussion.
Okay,
and I mess things up.
That's fine. I'm Michael Elgin, and in my real life, Aaron Frobel.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I get. Sometimes I get show names and real names confused, and
well, yeah,
I don't want to do that.
No, I don't mind. It's a weird thing where probably until the last couple of years, I don't think like I introduce myself as Aaron the first time I meet somebody, but then we're on shows. Like I remember Kevin Steen. He got me booked for a show because I had helped him out when he was off of Ring of Honor.
Okay.
So Jim Cornette like sent him home and he hit me up. He's like, I know you work a lot. Can you like help me out, get some extra bookings? No problem. And then he was returning the favor and I sent him my email to get the promoter. He goes, your name's Aaron? I go, dude, when I met you in like 2005 the first time, I said my name's Aaron. He goes, no, you didn't. I was like, yes, but now we've been around each other for, the last 7 years and you just know me as Michael at the shows. So why would you, this is falling, I don't want to.
Okay, so a pro tip, like if you like, not like, if you like double fold over, if you fold over your shirt, I said double fold over, but if you fold over your shirt, it's just like that. Look at
yeah, so like, and then recent years, people now know me as Aaron because a lot of people are meeting me in like training scenarios and online through my actual Facebook. So it's now more Aaron.
That's how I think of you. Right. I have to think sometimes. Like when somebody says Elgin, like I'm like, oh yeah, I know who that is. But like half the way here, I was like, oh my God, what is his name?
Yeah, right. But I mean, I've actually been Michael Elgin longer than I was just Aaron because I started wrestling at 14. So yeah, I started training at 14, had my first matches at 14 under a weird situation in a school in Canada. It's a whole story. And then at 16, I started going to Detroit for all my shows. I mean, I met the promoter of this show tonight, 2007, the first time. Yeah.
How old were you then?
2007, I was what?
I'm not mathing.
21?
Lord.
I think, yeah. I think that's how much, I don't know. I was around that age. I was still very, very new into the business. Yeah.
That's a long time.
Yes. Yeah. Been doing this, as I said, at 37. I started at 14. I've done this more than half my life.
This guy, I noticed out there, you don't just do it, like you breathe it.
Yeah. I think if you're out there thinking it's anything but real in the ring, the people don't believe you. They might be into it, and they might clap, and they might enjoy the moves you do, but you're not going to form a connection with a crowd if you're not genuine and think in your head, if somebody did this to me in real life, how would I react? And then when you do it, then people feel it. And that's just how wrestling's supposed to go.
And I like that. And you were talking before the match, like, and I know all the psychology, like I get that. I write, like it's like writing a book.
Yep, absolutely.
I love it. But even hearing you do it, it's still watching you is still amazing.
I appreciate
it's still amazing.
that so much. Thank you.
Even though I know.
Right.
It's still like, and that is impressive to me.
Thank you so much.
I was very impressed.
Thank you.
And I've seen, I know you sent me a couple videos and I've seen those, but other than that, I haven't watched anything.
That's okay.
Because that's what I do.
Yeah.
I like to I like to watch with new eyes.
Right.
I think I told you that.
Yes, you
okay. Did. And the new eyes were very impressed.
Well, I'm thankful.
Somebody had said you were mid, like you weren't, sir. You were really good.
And I appreciate that. And
my God.
This is where some people might think I have like an ego problem or something. I don't think that there's anybody better than me in the world. I'm not saying that I'm better than them, but I don't think there's anybody better than me.
All right.
Meaning you could put me and go through the top stars that I haven't wrestled in my career. So your Will Ospreays, your Daniel Bryans, your Seth Rollins, your Roman Reigns. Are they great? Absolutely. But I don't think they're better than me. Not saying I'm better than them, but I think if I wrestled them, I think if I wrestled them,
I feel like that's
it would be
fair.
exactly like
you're smooth like butter.
Thank you.
You are smooth like butter, and you're good, and you are good on that level.
I appreciate that.
I will.
I just feel, and that's not.
I can see why you were on. It was Ring of Honor, yes. Did I remember?
Yes. Yeah. Ring of Honor, New Japan, Impact. Talk to WWE a little bit. But I
can see why it's polished, but not in a like a. Oh yes, we're gonna do this kind of way. In a, this is
right.
Awesome. Oh my God. Wow. That was so great kind of way.
Well, too, I think something that within wrestling, and I hate to sound like the old heads, but a lot of them are correct in some of the things they say. What I mean by that is if you really look, I mean, a lot of people are praising the Daniel Bryan Will Ospreay match. It was absolutely great. If you put two other people who have a similar style that aren't Daniel Bryan and Will Ospreay, that match isn't as great because they don't take their time and stuff. They don't let people soak in what they're doing. They don't let people garner emotional reaction to what they're doing. And it wouldn't be the same match. They could do move for move, the exact same thing, but they would rush it. They wouldn't give time to it. They wouldn't, and that's like I watched it a couple times. I thought it was an absolutely phenomenal match. But then you move down a little bit and guys are just moving too quick. And they're going to get a reaction for cool moves because as a whole, cool moves are cool.
I mean, they're fun.
Yeah. The art is putting those cool moves in a place that they've got an emotional connection. We hit that cool move and then we get a near fall and then they react to the near fall and the cool move. But then they keep with you after that kick out, whether you're the one kicked out or the one that had the cover and they kicked out, because there's that emotional connection with you. So if you take your time, you sell, you do all those things, then you start garnering a total different reaction from people. And it's a game changer with wrestling. Like it absolutely is. I mean, the feeling of a crowd that's popping for moves and the crowd that's emotionally invested are drastically different. Like, I mean, you go to quite a few shows.
Yes, I do.
How was the crowd out there?
I mean, it was occasionally they seemed a little confused, but they were popping. Like they were very into it. The energy was really good. I liked that. And they liked the Amish giant man. I can't remember his name.
Perry Mace.
Thank you. Yeah. Oh, I'm so bad. This is why people introduce themselves.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Yeah,
so I've been like, this is just Aaron.
Yeah, no, but I mean, it's true because we're trying to do something here which garners that emotional connection.
I was invested. All the characters. Look. Okay, so I'm picky. There were a couple matches I just did not care for. Right. There's a couple people I'm just like, okay, whatever. There were other people in other matches. I was like, raw. But by the end, that whole story, God bless, that whole storyline, I was so invested. I was so mad. And you put that ref shirt and I was like, wee. And I was so, and that stupid ref was like, no. And I was like, no, he's not certified. His mom's certified in my bedroom, little ugly. So it worked.
Right. And that's, like every town we've went to, we have got more people in the door the second time we return.
I could see that. So, yeah. And there was a lot of people here. Have you been here before?
It's been 20 years since CIW's ran this building.
20 years like ago?
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Yeah, CIW's been around since like the 90s.
Well, I mean, yeah, obviously if you were... Wow, that was a pretty big crowd.
Yeah. And I mean, we've done this area. So I returned in Hillsdale in October of last year, and then the booker and promoter and owner Phil, he's like, man, the crowd really loves you. Like, I want to do something with you and Malice. I was like, okay. So then we did. What was that? I think that was Hillsdale in October, and then we did Adrian or some other little town around here in February, and like the crowd was bigger. They were really invested into it, and now we've done Toledo twice, and last time I think we had like 150 people more than the first time we were there. So we're hoping that the Iron Man match with me and Malice will get more people in the door, and then hopefully we can create something that night that expands again to the next show we have.
I mean, that's always kind of the hope, right?
That is the hope. I think that I have a lot of criticism for wrestling, but not from a sore spot, not from a place where I know better than you do this, from time and investment and research and study and like.
And you care to share, because this is what I do.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, you have to know the backstory to understand what I'm saying. I'm the youngest, was the youngest in my family. Now that, you know, me and my cousins are all having kids, there's younger people, but I was the youngest in my family. So my cousins were huge wrestling fans. I was born in 86. So like the peak of Hulkamania, you know, Hulkamania is just running wild. All my family's into it. I'm born December 13th, Christmas that year. There's a picture of me sitting in the old Elgin ring. My cousins playing with the old Elgin figures. Me opening up a Jimmy Hart figure, you know, like literally on my first Christmas. I'm like 2 weeks old. Oh my God. And then they got out of wrestling and I got all their hand-me-downs. And as a matter of fact, my cousin, who was really close with my mom, wanted to name me Andre because he loved Andre the Giant. And then she's like, I'll call him Aaron. Like, yeah. So like I was just nothing, like absolutely nothing. When my wife chose Piper for our daughter's name, I was like, of course I'm okay with Piper. I mean, Rowdy Roddy Piper. Like we found out that we were having a girl, and then I immediately ordered a Rowdy Roddy Piper onesie. You know, like beautiful. Immediately. But so that's how the fandom started. And I don't remember a time. I mean, starting out, like I think my first live event was 1991, so I was like not even 5 yet because it was early in 91. The main event was Dusty Rhodes versus Big Boss Man in the Oshawa Civic Auditorium. I can tell you, like, if you walk in the building, I can tell you where I was sitting, everything.
Wow.
And then I just kept going. Like, my mom would take me, my weekends consisted of my aunt who lived with us would take me to the mall and buy me a wrestling action figure on Saturday.
Okay.
And then Sunday, my mom would take me to the flea market and I would get 3 VHS tapes for $20. And I would play with my figures and watch my tapes all week. And then the weekend, new figure, new tapes, and just recycle that.
Okay.
And then WrestleMania 18 was happening in Toronto. And I was a diehard wrestling fan. You know, I mean, we were in elementary school, the 8th grade. Our principal let us pull the gym mats down and wrestle for 2 hours every Wednesday. So we would stop wrestling at recess and get suspended. Like that, yeah. Like I'm not, yeah. So that happens. WrestleMania 18's coming to Toronto, Hogan versus Rock. And I'm leaving the event and I get a flyer. And it's a 2-week pro wrestling camp. Ages 14 and up. I'm 14. I go, of course I gotta go to this. Right? So I called the next day I called. Yeah, it's the summer. It's this much money. Put the money aside. Did the 2-week camp, and then they got away with it because at that time Ontario had an athletic commission, so you had to be 18 to wrestle.
Okay.
I'm 14, but this school sold memberships, not tickets. But they only had one event a month. So they sold memberships to people. They bought the memberships for the month and then came watch the once-a-month wrestling show. So I actually had my first wrestling match after 2 weeks of training.
Well, goodness, that's not a lot.
No, well, I picked up really quickly, and it wasn't a big class.
I could see that.
Yeah, as a fan, I wasn't perfect, by all means. But if they said, okay, we're going to teach you body slam, I was like, I know body slam. I've been watching this, obviously I had to know how to bump properly, and then you learn all the other stuff. But regardless, so I started wrestling at 14. I spent 2 years at that school. And when I turned 16, a proper school would let me join. So then I joined the proper school when I was 16. Okay. 2 weeks into that class, I did a spot with somebody, and 3 guys in the out goes, I'd never seen that before. We started talking. They were going to actually Detroit that weekend, and I drove with them. And those were like I count them as my first real shows because they were like with other people and bigger crowds and stuff. So I debuted in Michigan in 2004 for Truth Martini. He had like a charity show, and then XICW. So those were my first 2 technical matches when I was 16.
Wow.
And then it just went from there. And I mean, I do an hour of cardio every morning. I watch wrestling. I do 20 minutes of warm-up cardio. I watch a match then. I do a half hour of post-weights cardio. I watch wrestling then. I have studied what works and what doesn't, like watching angles and seeing how people do stuff. And I just am really like a...
Do you watch yourself?
No.
No?
No, because I'd be the hardest on my fucking self, and I can't do that. People don't. I can't. Like, even if the match, I've been very fortunate in my career to have many matches where people have praised, and I don't want to go back and watch it because I'll just be like, oh, we just did this. I don't know why people are praising it, you know, and you're your own hardest critic all the time. So I don't care to watch any of my stuff.
So how do you get better then?
You feel it. Like, you just feel the things that you're not. I was very fortunate to be put in situations with many great wrestlers that cared enough to help me in those matches.
All right.
So I was very fortunate. I mean, 2005, in my hometown, I wrestled Rhino, Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, Chris Sabin, Bobby Roode. Like, any name that got brought in, I was wrestling in 2005. So I'm 18 years old, like,
that's
wrestling
dope.
all these guys. But I'd also been wrestling for a long time. And when I started at the Good Wrestling School, it was very much still the time.
At the Good Wrestling School? What's that called?
So,
what's the name of that one?
Well, Good Wrestling School, meaning it had a following. I would not like to give them credit because the head trainers had two rings. One ring was to teach the girls lucha stuff, and the other ring was for us to go train by ourselves. And I thought that was perverted. So I never really liked the head trainer there.
That's weird.
Yeah. So I was technically trained by Joe Legend, Tyson Dukes, and Sin, also known as Sin Bodhi Kazarni. He was Kazarni WWE for a while. So those three I kind of credit to training me.
Okay.
And that was at the Good School, and they would come in, and we did all that kind of stuff. And then, as I said, I just wrestling people who were better than me, elevated me, and then watching their matches and understanding why and how they were doing things was a big, big help for me. And that,
yes,
we just need a couple minutes, all right? Appreciate it, thank you. So it was more the elevation of stuff, and you kind of know when you're not. I don't know if everybody feels this way, but I can feel when something could be better.
I mean, yeah.
You know, like when as I said, there's an energy out there that you can feel when the energy's off. And if the energy's off, it's not the fans' fault. It's our fault for not giving the fans what they need to see.
I wish more people would realize that the matches would get because you can take a match that's kind of like, and you can bring it back. I watched it happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also watched it didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the level. There's levels to everything in life.
Yes, there
is. And especially in pro wrestling, there's levels. And I was, as I said, 2005, I'm wrestling all those guys. I come into IW Mid-South in Chicago, and he's put me against Too Cold Scorpio and Roderick Strong and all these other guys. And then start in Ring of Honor, and then I go to New Japan. And then by the time I went to Impact, I was the guy that everybody wanted to work with because they knew I could bring them up to my level.
So you just like whooshed? You tobogganed?
I mean, I started in 2002, and my first contract with Ring of Honor was 2010, so I wouldn't say that.
Okay.
It's still 8 years of work. But it was a growing thing. But as I said, I like when things are difficult. I don't like when things are easy. And wrestling is very difficult to get to the next level. So I enjoyed that. Yeah, I really thoroughly enjoyed not being the best I could be yet, because that makes me push to be the best I can be.
All right.
And then you start watching stuff and start thinking differently and start reacting differently and start seeing things differently. And I have a total different view of wrestling than most people that I'm friends with. You know, a lot of people are very big into a mile a minute, let's do 1 million spots. And I think that's incredibly amazing. I think that it's super athletic, but I don't think that's what the pro wrestling I fell in love with is.
Right every now and then, but I mean, even if you're doing that every night, you're putting wear on your body. It's not necessary. Look at AEW, how many guys they have out. And they work a lighter schedule than WWE. It's like, what's the problem here? Yeah.
And again, there's so many talented people there. I think they're so used to, well, you know, I'm sure you've heard it. Oh yeah, we really need to send that guy to NXT. You do, because wrestling on TV is much different. And what we're trying to do here is teach all these guys to wrestle for TV.
Yeah, and it's working.
Thank you.
Because that's what, well, except for the first 2 matches. But the rest, the rest, yeah, and you know,
Right.
it's growth. It's fine. And I'm picky. I'm like the Nielsen family.
Yeah.
You shouldn't judge anything by me. I'm
No, you're
nobody.
good.
But it was good in that aspect for real. And I like that. And I felt there were a lot of times I was like this.
Right.
So I felt, and I do that at home, and I was like, ooh.
Yeah,
So.
it's 100%. Last October, Wrestling for Here brought my passion back for wrestling, big time. So that's why I still do all the shows they do, and I help book it, and we try to get in here
Cuts
early.
on your face from.
It happens. Yeah, but you know, we get in there early. I work with the guys in the ring. I work with them on their promos. We put together stuff for the matches for them. Not a lot of stuff, just a finish so that the finishes come off, so that we have a story to follow.
Your suggestions were really good.
Oh, thank you.
Like
Thank
really,
you.
No, they were really good.
I truly appreciate that. Honestly.
Like I have video proof. They were really good.
And it's just watching from different eyes. You know, as I said, I grew up. Like literally, I knew who Hulk Hogan was before I could walk. Before I could crawl, I knew who Hulk Hogan was. So it's like I grew up in that era of. Sure, I loved Bret Hart, and I loved the Bulldogs, and I loved the Rockers, and Tito Santana I loved, and Ricky Steamboat I loved, and Randy Savage I loved. But even if you go back and watch them, those matches fit today, but they're still taking their time, and you feel something with them.
Yeah.
And I think the emotional investment in pro wrestling is how we get to the next level. I mean, the best movies are people go, man, I really felt for this character, or that dialogue was really, you know, touching or motivating or whatever. And like, that's what pro wrestling is supposed to go. And it's like, oh, that was a lot of cool moves.
But don't you think part of that is getting to know the wrestler too?
Yeah, but how do you get to know the wrestler?
I mean, at merch tables, like, no?
No, you think Hulk Hogan was sitting at merch tables?
I don't know.
No. That helps. But at the merch table, you're not talking to Michael Hogan. You're talking to Aaron Frobel.
That's true.
Because I want to be kind and actually have a genuine conversation with people. Genuinely knowing me doesn't form an emotional connection necessarily. The ring is like that because it's elevated. It's a stage so that we're above everybody, so all eyes are on us. So we need to use that time in that ring to develop a connection to who we are as a wrestler. So I need them to connect with me on, if I'm selling, I need them to feel my pain. If I'm firing up, I need them to be motivated that I'm going to finally get my hands on the bad guy, or reverse. And if they are mostly invested in wanting to see that, then they care. Then it don't matter what move I do. Not at all.
That's true.
Now, I'm going to do a move that's going to get over, don't get me wrong, but I can literally do whatever I want. I mean, go watch a Randy Orton match. People go crazy for it. He's not doing anything spectacular.
That's true.
You know, he's doing his RKO, he's doing his power slam. Other than that, what other moves is he doing? But he's an absolutely phenomenal pro wrestler, and he's got a huge emotional connection with the fans.
That's true.
Not saying don't do the cool moves, but as I said, I would rather watch Bryan and Ospreay do the cool moves than other people I see. And I'm not saying even in AEW. I mean, I do lots of indies. A lot of people send me matches, and it's just there's no rhyme or reason for what they're doing. What they're doing is absolutely amazing. It's phenomenal. I mean, I can't believe some of the stuff that people do. But as far as it following what pro wrestling is and trying to tell a story, it's different. And then some people are going to go, what are you talking about a story? Well, I'm not saying work an arm or work a head. I'm saying there is a story that we can develop, and it's very, very easy. You know, if I'm wrestling somebody who's 150 pounds, you see the story. Now it's my job to create that story in the match, right? So if I'm the bad guy wrestling a 150-pound guy,
You would have to be the bad guy.
maybe there's ways to do it. Well, think about it. What could a 150-pound guy do for me to make me sell for him and give the crowd to want to see me to come back.
How quick and how smart.
How quick, how smart, and what? I'm the baby face though, so I wouldn't want them to quick and outsmart me. What I would want them to do is take out my knee.
Well, I guess, yeah.
Because if they take out my knee, now when I pick them up and I'm on one foot because I can't put weight on that knee, that looks really impressive, even if he's only 150 pounds.
I mean, that's
And
true.
if he's taking out my knee, I can't come to my feet. If I can't come to my feet, I can't fight back. If I can't fight back, I'm getting beat up. If I'm getting beat up, somebody wants to see me come back because I'm the baby face. There's a way to do everything.
All right.
And when it comes to wrestling,
I would buy that actually, I think. And I hate that I'd buy that.
if it was done correctly, you would buy it.
Ooh.
It's yeah.
Oh, that makes me mad.
No, it should make you happy.
It does a little bit too. Oh, I don't like that.
You can give me, there's not a scenario you can put my mind into when it comes to wrestling and me not find a solution for it. That's just how my mind works with wrestling. I'm very passionate about this. I love it. I mean, to its core, I love what we do in that ring. I love the emotional connection we can have. I love going to a show and seeing somebody and them saying, hey man, you know, I used to watch you years ago. I'm so glad that you're in this town. Or meeting a new young wrestler, like, man, I really liked your stuff back then. That means the world to me because I was a fan. I mean, I only did this crazy journey because I was a fan growing up. If I got to, I mean, I remember being starstruck, meeting Ken Shamrock and Too Cold Scorpio when they were just mid-card guys. I was like, you guys, oh my God, you guys are my heroes. Really? Of course. Like, you guys are doing what I want to do. It wasn't The Rock. It wasn't Stone Cold at their peak. It was Too Cold Scorpio, who was Too Cold Scorpio for like maybe 6 months in WWF. He was Flash Funk the rest of the time. But I knew him from Japan and ECW as Too Cold Scorpio. So I was a huge fan of him. And then how can you not like Ken Shamrock? I was like, this is awesome. You mean you guys are great. So being able to do that and then meeting people who are 20, 21, man, I used to love watching you. And at first it's like, fuck, I am getting old. But at the same time, it's like, it's cool that anything I did meant something to somebody.
Like, yeah.
And it's a very genuine good feeling because when I get to meet somebody, I always tell them how big of a fan I am. Like, I don't care what anybody says. My first Japan tour, I waited for 3 hours after the event to speak to Kenta Kobashi and take a picture with him because he had press. Because I didn't know, my first tour, I didn't know if I'd ever go back. And Kenta Kobashi is one of my all-time favorites. So I had to talk to him, had to get a picture with him.
I could see that.
And because I mean, you know, and it's funny because I grew up in a time in wrestling where people are like, don't be a mark and take pictures with the stars. I go, what are you talking about? Stop it.
See, that's why can't people just have fun?
Wrestling used to be a weird.
People are still icky like that,
but I do wish some things when I broke in were still around.
Like
respect for the business. Yeah, that was taught.
Like respect for the business, like illuminate it for the slow in the room, which is me.
If you are 2 years in and you're booked,
okay,
you arrive to the show early and you ask if they need any help. You stay till the end of the show and you watch all the matches to see if there's anything you can pick up from the guys who are above you, been around longer on top of the card. You ask a veteran to watch your match, to give you critiques. You stay after the show and you help if they need it.
Yeah.
How many shows I've been to where people, as soon as intermission is over, they grab their bags and they come say goodbye to me. And I've never met them until that show.
That's like the bare minimum.
It's not,
like I ask if there's anything I can do, and I'm not
respect is.
That's the bare minimum.
Listen, wrestling, my wife, my son, my mother, and my father. Love and respect, that's my circle. If you disrespect them or wrestling, I don't have room for you in my life. And a lot of people are not respecting and loving something that, I mean, it's been cruel to me sometimes for sure, but at the same token, I was able to be in a marriage where my ex-wife didn't have to work and could be at home with our son while I was on the road. It's afforded me many great things, and I love and I respect this so much. I mean, I was here at 10 a.m.
I say you were well entrenched by the time we got here.
Yeah, and it's
like,
just like,
do something.
if I can show up at them, why can't you? I don't need to. I can come in, cut my promo, tell everybody what they're doing, and just piss off.
I mean, you could. If you need something, honey, you can get something.
Huh? Sorry? 10 minutes? Oh, yeah. Shoot me the address.
Sorry, guys.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, he's from here, so he's got a hardcore gym I want to check out tomorrow. So I want to get a workout in before I get on the road to my next show. So, but anyway, where was I? The respect and love. Yeah, and then it's just that,
it's like literally the bare minimum.
Yeah,
as a
a lot of
being
people
when you're doing something.
You would think so, but it's not.
No, I know so.
This wrestling's not about love and passion anymore. I see it a lot. Not for a lot of people. It's really not.
Don't they teach that in the schools?
No, I mean, you've been to schools. Out of all the schools I go to, WCWO in Indianapolis and House of Truth are the two best schools I've been to.
I've never been to either of those.
Well, so tonight, Hidari and Malenko that were in the four-way.
Yeah, Malenko was good. I'd never seen him before.
8 months.
Oh.
I would take my student, Calvin Coco. He wasn't on the show tonight. He usually does these shows.
8 months?
I would take my student down to Indianapolis and train there. So I did a lot of training with Hidari and Malenko. And I was super impressed with Malenko. And when I first met him, he hadn't even had a match. And then 2 matches in, I told the promoter there, I was like, hey, Joey, I want to work with Malenko. It was like his 3rd match, and I was blown away. Yeah, he's really talented. Yeah. Really talented. Super talented.
Like, Hidari's good too, but like...
Yeah, Malenko's got.
I remembered his name. I'm sucky, like, remembering their name the first time I see them, unless they're really good.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So that school and Truth Martini school, the one that teaches. And, you can also teach respect, and it doesn't mean that somebody's going to show it. The old saying, you can lead a horse to water.
That's true.
So you never know. It's a personal, and I really think, I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist or anything like that. I'm vaccinated, but I think COVID did a lot of damage to society that we don't realize.
Psychologically, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think
totally
it really
buy that. That doesn't sound like a conspiracy. It's legit.
This is going on the internet, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you ask the internet, I'd set a fire to an orphanage. Like, it's
Wait, what?
I'm not saying actually, but you know what I mean? Like,
I will bust somebody.
Listen, you don't.
No, thank you.
It's been hell trying to get people to understand what's been happening in my life for the last 3.5 years.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do.
I know.
People are stupid.
I mean, I know.
They blow out of proportion.
100%.
And they don't like...
Nobody's going to read their... Nobody's going to read it.
Can I tell you a story?
You can tell me any story you like.
I'm going to tell you a little story, okay? So, like, once upon a time, I took some videos and pictures. And a certain person said to me, it's not you, it's a certain other person. They said, hey, I'm going to need to look at those. If there's any bad things, I'm going to need to delete them if they look bad. Okay, that seems fair. Right. All right, you can do that. So that just became practice for me.
Yeah.
So then I just went to this other place, and this other person, I took videos and pictures with their permission, obviously. And I was like, here, you can look at them. And they were like, do I get to heart the ones that are my favorite? Which was the cutest thing. I loved it. And I was like, no, you can delete the ones you don't like. And they were like, no, I love everything you do. I love the way you I love your vision. And I was like, oh, I love you so much. And I always forget that stupid things there.
It happens.
And then tonight, you were supposed to be a mean person.
Apparently.
Right? I'm going to cry. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I said, I took some video and pictures. Do you want to go through it and decide what to delete, if anything? What'd you say to me?
I don't remember the exact verbiage, but it was something along the lines like, no, if you're catching how you see me, so that's how you see me. I don't think I'm doing anything bad. So whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no need for it. Like, as I said, this is and it sucks because
that's for the last,
for the last year, I almost canceled every show I was on, like the night before, because I would just have anxiety didn't have the passion and love for it. Like
everybody's so angry. Like I read some of that shit, right? I read it. First off, even if you said some of it, that just means you're an asshole. Sorry, not sorry.
Right.
Like, and I mean, guys can be, I mean, girls can be assholes.
And I'm not saying this is, I think this is where it goes off the, at first when everything happened, I tried to correct people because one, they were saying things that happened that weren't even accused. You know what I mean? And then I'm trying to correct it and they're like, oh yeah, you're Mr. Perfect. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm saying I didn't do this. Have I ever done something that I wish I did in life? Of course. Like, I think we're human. We all have things we wish we didn't didn't do. You know what I mean? Like, but as far as just going, it's like, it's so crazy to me that it's like, oh yeah, he's a bad guy. So what do? Just walk around telling everybody they're, you know what I mean? It's like, what does that even mean? It's so wild.
Nobody could tell me.
And then everybody's like, you shouldn't be on wrestling shows because it's unsafe. I'm like, even the false accusations that I have proved false, when did any of them happen in the confines of a wrestling building or even with a wrestler? Like, what does that even mean? Like, what, are they just walking the show and with the helicopter going and be like, who wants to play with this? Like, no, you know what I mean? But that it's like, it's so wild to me. And it's like, it's so frustrating because it's like, you've seen me in these scenarios. And the worst is, I catch people talking shit that are the same ones that message me and ask me to watch their match and give advice. And they think I'm not going to catch their post. I have everything. I have every post of anybody who's in the wrestling media or wrestlers who babyface me to my face and talk shit behind my back. I have text messages of them talking shit about me to people that are still my friends. I have all their posts online that they think I can't see screenshots of, just saved for one day when I say, this is how shitty you all are. Okay, I'll see you at the house. I'll see you at the house. Yeah. All right, I'll see you there.
Bye. Have a good night. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, so that's just, it's just fine. And, you know, it was frustrating for a while because I don't think people understand that wrestling, in 2015, wrestling didn't become just a love and passion. It became a way to give my son the life I felt he deserved. And taking that away from me, I mean, I could have been, there's an old saying, and I grew up in a very, it's not rough now, so if you go there, you're going to be surprised. It's very well built up now. But when I grew up in Oshawa, it was the ghetto.
Have a good night.
So we had certain rules. And I grew up with men dealing with the rules. Like, you can do a lot of things and I won't react. But if you mess with my money or my family, you get it. A lot of people, if I was such a bad person, I would be in jail for hurting a lot of people physically.
My dad was the same way.
You know, like, but what's that going to do for anybody? You try to talk to people. Nobody wants to have a conversation. You try to show people proof. I remember showing text messages that were directly conflict from what people said happened. And they go, they should sue you for showing their text messages. Like, what? What do you mean they should sue me for showing text messages? It's like somebody's going out, oh, Elgin says the sky is red, but it's blue. And I'm like, right here, I have a text that says, from me to you, the sky is blue. Like, you're lying. Like, obviously it's not that, but you know what I mean?
No.
Yes. And it's like,
completely get what you're saying.
And then people are like, oh, they should sue you. Like, what are they going to sue me for? Showing the truth? It's so crazy. It's 2024. It's taken from 2020 finally to have people start apologizing to me for thinking that those things were accurate. And it's like, man, what would have happened if in 2021 I fucking killed myself like I was gonna? Think about that. What would have happened if I wasn't so messed up in 2021 that I forgot to turn a safety off on a gun and I didn't blow my head up? That's where I was because of this shit. And now that's what I say. That's where the anxiety and just didn't want to go to shows, even though I know the crowd that's in the audience, you know, cheers for me. They want me there. It's like I just didn't want to give any more of myself to this because it almost took my life.
And you wouldn't have this little girl coming.
Exactly. I'm glad things worked out. But I mean, people don't realize, I mean, my wife.
What an impact it did?
Well, not only that, my wife, we hung out for 9 months. Didn't even hold hands. For 9 months. She wouldn't leave me alone. Bless her heart, because I love her to death. But like, I mean, I told her like, just, I'm not, well, it's okay, I'm just going to come over and I'll just sit beside you and watch TV. I was like, seriously, don't. And then 20 minutes later, she's at my fucking door. She just wouldn't leave me alone for 9 months. Literally, not even hold hands. What was I afraid of? What do you mean?
I mean, look.
I date a girl. So picture this. You date a girl. So
I get it.
This is what. I quit New Japan because I missed my son's first steps, his first words, multiple birthdays. I felt me and my ex-wife pulling apart. I leave New Japan. I join Impact, and I have a conversation. I want to leave New Japan, so I'm home more, so we can work on our marriage, and I'm more present in Jax's life. Apparently, that was the wrong thing, because that's when the fucking marriage started falling apart. So then, like, within 3 months, we separate.
Wow.
I start seeing a girl. And she was very nice, very sweet. But I told her, I said, I don't want anything serious. I'm getting out of a marriage. I got a son. I'm trying to focus on wrestling. I don't want anything serious. It's okay. I just love spending time with you. I go, are you sure? Yes. And then she's like, are you going to see other people? I go, I'm not saying I'm going to, but I'm not saying I'm not going to. At least, the least I can do is tell you if I'm interested in somebody else.
All right, fair enough.
Right? She says, okay. But then every morning I woke up, I would have one of those text messages where you have to click the bottom to open it up.
Oh.
And I was like, I'm sorry, I'm going to get back with my ex for my son.
Sweet Jesus.
So then she starts messaging with my ex, and that's a whole thing that I can't really divulge yet. But she was one of the ones that falsely accused me, saying that I was abusive because I cheated on her and called her fat.
No, that's just the asshole thing to do.
It is, but I never cheated on her, and I never called her fat.
But even if you did, that just means
why? I mean, everybody saw me with her. Wouldn't that make me look bad if I was saying something derogatory about this woman that people saw me spend time with? Right? Yeah. And that wasn't even one that, like, it's just, what regardless. So then she's going and saying these things, and I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I have all these text messages, you saying, like, you want to be friends. No, you can't just be friends. Then you're sending me nudes, and then you're trying to, and I'm saying, listen, I don't want the picture. Like, you know what I mean? And then I was like, so I can't trust anybody because she's the one that's doing this to me. When I first met that girl, she said, hey, I have a duplex with my parents, and the other house is open. We don't have anybody in it. You want to stay there? And I said, can Jimmy come? Jimmy Jacobs. And she said, if he wants. I asked him. He goes, no, I got stuff to do. So I went to stay at the house. She ate my food. We talked. I thought she left. I went up to the shower. I come out. She's naked in the bed. If I did that, that's assault.
I mean, yeah.
Right? So it's a weird, very weird thing. So like between that and then I caught my ex with pictures and stuff on her phone. So I kicked her out of my house. And then she got a restraining order. And then her lawyer and my lawyer decided not to go to court. So it was only in place for 6 months. And I thought, we're good. Then she found out that I was seeing a girl that she had met while we were dating, but I never had anything with this girl, right? So not one thing with this girl ever happened until I was about to kill myself. And then she, as a friend, would drive 4 hours to come make sure I was okay. And then it just kind of a connection happened there. And we dated for a bit. She found out I was dating and then called the cops while I was in Kentucky. This is what people don't get. While I was in Kentucky to say that I broke the restraining order. And then when I showed everybody, the cops, the proof, they apologized and gave me money for not suing them.
Okay, can I say something?
Yeah.
You seem like a sweet man. You don't seem dangerous. May I touch your arm?
Sure. Yeah, you want to.
You seem like you need counseling.
I went to counseling. It didn't help.
It seemed very messy, but you don't seem like you're bad.
No, I'm definitely in a better place.
I don't think you seem. I don't think it doesn't sound like you did anything bad to anybody.
No, I did. I mean, listen,
I mean, like not like bad, like maybe mean or something.
And like, have I
people
ever
are mean
said,
to?
Yeah, you know, and it's like
I'm mean.
I've definitely
I call
said
people
things
mud
that
face.
I wish I said differently or maybe in a different tone
People
before.
are mean.
Yeah, but it's like it's a weird thing where, you know, I've found it's very strange because we're at a point where somebody can say,
You don't seem dangerous though.
we got in an argument and he just yells, and then all of a sudden it's like, why? What? Okay, what do you? I yelled. I didn't yell at you. I didn't hit you. I didn't do anything.
I mean, you're
like,
a big
you know what
guy.
I mean?
If you yelled, you would scare me. But I know,
And I know that, so I don't yell.
But you would. I know. I've been
Right.
to enough therapy. I would know why.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't.
But sometimes
like,
you have to. Sometimes you have to yell out of frustration because that's the only thing. Because to me,
no, I get that.
it's like I'm not going to hit somebody, male or female.
All right, fair.
I'm not going to punch a wall because one, I don't want to pay for the damages that happen, and I don't want to break my hand.
All right.
So my only option is to yell. And I'm not even saying my ex, it was so crazy that one time I got really frustrated and I just yelled into the sky.
I have
Like, I mean, outside, yelled in the sky.
literally
And
done
she
that.
went like this. I go, I'm not yelling at you. She goes, I know, but I would like it if you don't get like that around me. So then anytime I was frustrated, I shut the fuck up. And then he gave me the silent treatment.
Oh.
But no. You said you didn't like me yelling around you. So anytime I was frustrated, I just didn't talk. Just let you do your thing and I let me do my thing. But now it's the silent treatment.
Okay.
You know, then it goes to, if we didn't have sex, he gave me the silent treatment. Made me feel so alone. No. What would happen was we would be sitting there. We'd be watching TV. Maybe I did kiss you. I'm not moving. Okay, sounds good. And we'll be watching TV and just laying next to each other. Because I don't know, because my ex at the time, this is not my ex-wife, but regardless, she had some things in her past. So I tried to be my most cautious around her because she had some weird, I don't mean weird, but some things that I'd never come across before in my life.
Right.
Like some weird, like, you know, if she wasn't looking and I went to like hug her from behind, she might get really tense. Or, you know, normal things that you can do with somebody that
I'm a lot jumpy.
And that's fine.
I'm like
that's
a
fine.
cat.
But if you're not used to that with somebody, so it's a learning experience. And it was also, you know, fresh off a divorce, fresh off of people falsely accuse me. I meet this girl. I think that like she's the love of my life, but I think that, you know, we're both lonely because of COVID. I'm dealing with all this personal stuff. She's dealing with personal stuff. And I think we needed each other in the time, and then we stayed around each other too long, and she wasn't, you know, I should have listened to her when we first met, and she's like, I'm never going to get married. I'm never going to live with somebody. And then she moved in, and then we got engaged. And then shit went to shit.
Okay.
So maybe I should have listened, but I really thought we had a genuine connection. And it sucks because what I hate about...
did. It just wasn't that kind of genuine
and
connection.
maybe, and I don't even like showing the true colors of these people because to me, if I spent time with you, you were a valuable person in my life, no matter how short, how long. I don't want to badmouth you. But if you're sitting there badmouthing me and it's literally costing me in the last 3 years, $2 million, and I'm not exaggerating, between lawsuits and lost contract, that's $2 million since 2020. A deal that was supposed to be 3 years, $400,000 a year, right there is $1.2 million. $750,000 between defamation lawsuits and custody stuff, which that's all tied in, but I can't go into that. $750,000 plus $120,000.
So much
almost $2 million
money.
in the last 2 years.
You need like a GoFundMe.
People don't care.
So do a GoFundMe, and then they can just not care, and it can sit there,
They
right?
won't. They will. No, I'm not.
It
I
doesn't
don't
cost anything.
Yeah, but I'm okay working for it. I don't want anybody to donate. I just want people to look at the facts, get to know me, and let me live my life and wrestle. Because I can make that money in wrestling. There's no doubt.
Definitely your life.
Yeah.
Like you stopped eating to get in the ring to
Yeah.
ciao.
Yeah,
And what you helped Ace with,
Yeah.
I remembered, and the other guy, I don't remember his name. Yeah, what you helped them with.
Good.
Oh my God, it made everything so much better.
Good.
It would have sucked the way they were doing
Right?
it. It was sucking the way they were doing
Yeah.
it.
Well, and as I said, that's just my mind works very differently with pro wrestling. Very differently. Like, I mean, don't show me a 6-minute match unless you have 2 hours to talk about it after. Like, that's me when it comes to wrestling. I see it differently. I feel it differently. I talk about it differently. We're going to go to Phil's house and watch a bunch of wrestling right now. And whoever is going over there will just talk and see little things that they might pick apart from older stuff that they don't
I want to watch wrestling with you because I want to talk because I have so many questions and he never answers me.
So is that me a show or something while I'm engaged?
Yes.
If you were to watch wrestling and not have your phone when I'm sitting home on the couch, you watching YouTube, I'd be more receptive to questions.
I generally like watching wrestling on TV because what I'll do is Monday I'll watch Raw, but I'll watch it as a fan. And then Tuesday morning when I do cardio, I'll watch it as a wrestler the next day.
Okay.
So I have to remove myself because I have to watch it as a fan. Not that I enjoy it watching as a wrestler too, but at the same time, you're enjoying it, but you're like, if they just did this one little thing. And you know that what you're feeling is what they after, because hindsight's 20/20. That's why I don't watch my matches, because immediately after, somebody could, me and Davey Richards, 2012, Jim Cornette and Delirious were in the back literally bowing to us. And that was my breakout match. Literally bowing to us. I haven't watched it. Not once since then. Because if I watch it, I'll be like, we just did this here and did that there. Oh! And it's going to frustrate me.
Because you know what it was, because you were there.
Yeah, and
you can just like...
Yeah, because that's in the past. And like, I want the next match to be the best match I've ever had. That's my goal every time I go out there. Whether it's going to be or not, I want, okay, you like that match? We'll watch this match.
All right.
So, and that's I learn more from seeing somebody do something. How would I do that to fit with what I do or who I am? I do it this way and do it this way. And then it comes together.
So how do you watch it as a fan as opposed to watch it as a wrestler?
Just watch and enjoy it. I don't think about what they're doing. I just can remove myself from going.
You can do that?
Yeah, you have to, or it'll drive you nuts. You can't watch wrestling unless you can watch it as a fan.
Okay.
Yeah, like, because there's so many, and I'm at the point where you can show me a quote-unquote perfect match. I can tell you at least 2 or 3 things that would make it even better. But I'm coming from a place where I also know whoever was in that match would agree with me.
Okay.
Because hindsight's 20/20. So nothing's, there's always going to be, if we just did it this way, or if I just took more time here, if I did this or did that, or did, when you do that, I still enjoy watching it like that, but it's a different enjoyment. Sometimes I just want to go, man, I hope Cody beats Roman Reigns finally. Right? Instead of going, ooh, that finish was good, but if they did the finish this, it's a different way of watching it. Sometimes you just want to be engrossed, because between wrestling and just timing of the weekends I had with my son before, this year was the first weekend I got to watch WrestleMania with my son, and I was so happy.
That's
I taught him how to lock up and stuff too. So yeah, and he doesn't really care about it. He likes it, he likes that I like it, and he likes playing with his figures, but he doesn't really care for it. But when I started watching him wrestling, he's getting it really quick. And I'm just teaching him chain wrestling. It's not like I'm bumping him or anything, but I'll just do little stuff with him. And he picks it up so quick and he goes, did I do it right? I go, Jax, you did it better than some guys I've wrestled. And he goes, really? Oh, I love it. So that's always fun about it.
That's adorable. Yeah. I love that. Anything else? Do you have anything else?
No, I don't think so.
All right. I'm sorry that your little Amish guy didn't win tonight, but I'm very excited that you are gonna be the champion. I hope so. Malice.
I hope so. That's the plan. June 23rd, Toledo,
That's the
Ohio.
day before my birthday.
Ooh.
So I want to go.
Yeah.
Yes, just the day before my birthday. So thank you.
No problem. Because it's before your birthday, that means you'll probably likely get to go too, right?
I would hope so. It's only 2.5 hours from the house.
Yeah, that's not bad. 7 for me.
Holy Lord, have mercy on my soul. 7 hours?
I love in the car.
I love to drive too, but 7 hours.
I don't care. My son went home last night at 8, and I drove here last night. I love it so much. I just put on some put on some podcasts that I like listening to, and just cruise.
Yeah.
No traffic at night. I love it. Driving at night's my favorite. When I used to go up and visit my family, when I could make it up there more, I would leave at like 9 p.m. and it's 12 hours from St. Louis to Toronto.
Do you sleep?
And I would just, no, because I would take my ex and my son. So my son would fall asleep within an hour, and she wasn't much behind her, and I would put on what I wanted on the radio, and I would just cruise. And she's sleeping, which means we're not stopping every 2 hours for a pee, and I could just go. I would make it to the border till they woke up, and then the last 4 hours was okay to stop here and there. Okay. I love driving.
That's how I drive, and he sleeps.
Yeah?
I like to drive.
I love it. That's one of my favorite things, I think, is just being on the road and listening to a podcast or a song, or when there's other wrestlers in there talking about wrestling. It's just...
I would literally die if I had people to talk to while I was driving.
Yeah.
It would be like, or maybe talk at. I don't know if I talk to people or talk at them.
We talk a lot of wrestling in the car, especially because the person I spend probably the most time in the car with is my student. He wrestles as Kelvin Coco. And I mean, we've done some drives. I think the last CIW show, we were up in like UP. So we drove from St. Louis 8 hours to UP, and then 8 hours down to Toledo.
Holy mother!
Yeah, and then 7 hours back to St. Louis, and it was like the most fun I've ever had. Wow. I love it so much. Yeah.
I mean, I say that I would probably love it too, but it's still a long freaking drive.
Yeah, I mean, but
we go 6 hours.
Yeah, we're going
next week.
We're going to the UP. I've driven to the UP before.
That was out of all, never worked up there before. Never, ever. That was the first time. It was for We Love Wrestling in Pembine, Wisconsin. So it was like right on the border.
Yeah.
Also, we were talking, and I've quit like taking edibles and smoking weed probably for the last like year and a half. But we were just shooting the shit. I was like, man, why aren't dispensaries open later? Like that makes no sense to me.
Actually.
Right? Like they should be.
Actually, yes.
And then we pull into a gas station as soon as we got into Michigan from Wisconsin up in the UP. And right beside that gas station was a dispensary open till 2 a.m.
That's
Yeah, and I was like, oh my God. And then my Coco's like, are you going to get something? I was like, no, man. Even though I should, just because this is a sign, I've quit and I'm sticking to it. But yeah, it was.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
That was an unintentional pun.
But no, that was a good pun.
That was unintentional.
That's okay.
It was so bad.
That's all right.
So bad. No, I like listening to you guys talk wrestling because I understand some of it, but it's like listening to my like grandpa and Uncle Larry talk like cars and stuff. Like I don't need to understand it. I just like listening to I've people be passionate about stuff.
I've found a way to relate it to a lot of different things so that because some wrestlers don't understand it just because of inexperience, not taught certain things.
All right.
So they don't, and as I said, there's levels. So somebody with 5 years experience, if they're on the level of me at 22 years experience, then they're a prodigy, and there's a few of them out there.
I mean,
don't get me wrong, but as a whole,
it's a lot of
it's
learning.
Right? And a lot of error, trial and error too. And so like they might not understand what I'm saying, but if I can relate it to something that they might understand better, then I can talk. I mean, even when I was telling about why we do our matches a certain way, if you read a book, if you watch a movie, and then I talk about Lion King, and they're like, oh, I never thought about that way. I go, I know, because nobody's been able to articulate it to you that way. Because we all read or watch a movie or something, and if you really break it down, how you write a story, how you produce a movie, all that kind of stuff, that's what we're supposed to be doing out there.
And that's what makes a good match.
That's what draws people in.
If you do it well.
Yep.
If you write the good story, you can try and...
And we have the benefit of changing the story on the fly because it's our bodies in this live.
That's very true.
So we don't, the crowd doesn't know what we talk about. Choose your own adventure,
and we're the ones making the choice.
100%. I so many matches because I've worked with a lot of newer talent or talent I just never worked with. And they're always like, man, I'm sorry that didn't go well. I'm like, who cares? They didn't know what we're going for. Like, it don't matter. Only we know.
That's really true. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, If I sit there and go, oh man, yeah, it looks bad. But if I sit there and just go, nobody's gonna know the difference, right? I mean, it doesn't matter. People put so much emphasis on such silly things in this wrestling world that we don't need to put emphasis on. That's really what it breaks down to. It's silly.
It's
so
about
silly.
saving face, isn't it? Looking good?
No. I think people don't like not being good at something. So if they mess up or they're not good, there has to be a reason. It can't just be that they need more time and effort put in.
But that's the reason, though.
I know, but listen, I don't understand it either. I don't, but I mean it from the bottom of my heart. I come across that a lot, and I think it's because hard work isn't something that is at the forefront of societal value. I think it's a personal value for people, but I think that when there's ways to get to a certain point, to get a certain status, to get certain money and not really have to work hard for it, why would you work hard for something when you can not work hard for something?
I mean, I suppose that's true.
I see a lot. I do. And maybe it's a weird point of view just because of everything that's happened in my life. But
I mean, I've never experienced either of those things. So,
but it's one of those things like, I don't think participation trophies should be a thing. For the simple reason that children need to learn how to lose.
I agree.
Just as much how to win.
I agree.
And if you learn how to lose, you start to go two ways. I quit, or how do I get better? We start putting in that type of system. Nobody's given a choice to get better or leave. They just move forward because there's a participation trophy waiting at the end of the tunnel.
I agree.
So we're not teaching the value of, okay, maybe this isn't for you, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Or this is for you if you put in some work.
See, that's what they should have done. They should have made it okay to be like, hey, maybe this isn't for you. And also, let's not make fun of Johnny. That's an a-hole thing to do. Don't do that.
Right.
Instead of everybody's a winner.
Yeah.
Because everybody's not a winner.
But see, and I think that's just different. It's very culturally different because I know some of the. I'm very much. You'll never do that. I will.
I'm the same way.
I mean.
Like, oh, you want to bet?
In 2002, I started training and Ring of Honor started. And I watched Low Key be crowned the first Ring of Honor champion. And I looked at my best friend and said, I'm going to be Ring of Honor world champion one day. And when I got to Ring of Honor, before I got to Ring of Honor, I said, I'll never be in Ring of Honor. And when I got to Ring of Honor, I'll never be a Ring of Honor world champion. And I'll never go to New Japan. Did them all. I did everything I said I was going to do. And the biggest motivation was everybody who told me I wasn't good enough. Wasn't good enough. My gear didn't look good enough. My body wasn't good enough. Okay, go to the gym, buy new gear. Learn and adapt. And that motivated me more than anything in my life. From everything I ever did. I love when people think I can't do something. The most motivation ever. I remember the first time I ever benched 575 pounds. I put the plates on and somebody goes, you can't bench that. Now I can. Sit right there and watch me bench it because you tell me I can't. Just motivated me even more to do it. It's been my whole life. I love it. That's the biggest fuel you can ever give me is tell me I can't do something. 100%. Because I will work tirelessly to be good at something. I mean, in high school I played basketball. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that was pretty good.
I feel like
but I wasn't good when I started. But YMCA opened at 5 a.m. School started at 8. I was at the YMCA from 5 a.m. till 7:30 and then showered and went to school practicing.
That's insane.
Yeah, everything. And then I needed to get in shape. So I was up before high school. I mean, when I started wrestling, I was literally, my house is here, gym is here, school's here. Wake up at 4:30 in the morning, go to the gym, work out, go to school, go to the gym, go home. I wanted to be a pro wrestler, and on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I took a train 2 hours away to my training school. And every other day was gym in the morning, gym after school. I just was always motivated I love when people say that I'm not good enough, I can't do that, you're never going to make it. Okay, we'll see. Because I will bet on myself every single time. Every single time.
All right, sir.
You have to. I think that self-motivation, even if you don't succeed, wouldn't you rather not give up on something?
Yeah.
You know?
I would.
It's like, even when I talk to religion with people, I always tell people, it's like, it doesn't matter even whether you believe or not, or if God's real or not. Giving yourself motivation to be better, to be decent, to help people, whatever that need is to do it.
That's why I do it. That's why I give people chances when they don't deserve chances.
Right. But it's just one of those things where it's like, life's too short.
It is.
Why not try to put your best foot forward in everything you do? Why not try to be kind and polite to people? And there's some people that don't deserve kindness and politeness.
No,
and I'll be the
don't.
first one to say, there's definitely some times where people didn't deserve kindness or politeness that I was rude to. Maybe I shouldn't have been rude. Maybe I just needed to walk away from the situation instead of saying what I needed to say. But I grew up in a house full of women, so sometimes I need to get what I needed across.
Okay, so I do that. I kind of let my mouth overload my
It's a very it's you have to be confident in yourself to do it, and I think that women are much more comfortable doing that. Saying that.
Definitely.
I think a lot of guys want to say it, but there's that inherent, like, I'm just saying that to that guy and he could sucker punch me. Or he could do this. You know what I mean?
I gotta be careful because I don't want anybody to fight him because I run my mouth. People are dumb.
They are. Yes, they are.
People are very dumb.
For 4 years, I've been dealing with some dumb people. Maybe ignorant. I'm going to use ignorant because that's lack of knowledge.
That is.
Yeah. So maybe not dumb, ignorant people.
That's just because nobody wants to listen.
Nobody wants to be wrong.
You think that's it?
Yeah, 100%. Because if think about it this way, wrestling fans in Chicago at AEW, a promotion that I put on the map with Silas Young.
Okay.
I mean, their growth started with me and Silas Young feud over the world title because they did that angle right after I had my big match with Davey Richards.
Okay.
They saw me grow as a person, as a performer, of everything.
Okay.
And they treated me like shit when accusations happened from somebody they had never met in their life.
Okay.
Those fans, when I showed the proof, didn't even look at it because they've already made their decision that they need to follow this trend and they have to hate me, so they can't be wrong in that. They value being correct, or how do you say that? They value being correct rather than right.
See, and this is my problem with cancel culture, okay? Like, I feel like if you do wrong things, you should get blasted to shit.
Yeah.
Tim Collins, anybody? Okay. But I also believe in receipts because I'm old school and we had receipts. And I feel if somebody should come with receipts, which is what you have lots of receipts.
A lot more that haven't been out there.
And if somebody says, but no, indeed, this is what really happened, then everybody should be like, well, you're a lying liar. We're not going to listen to you anymore. And then everybody ostracizes the person that lied because that's what used to happen in the 90s, children, when the internet was cool. Because that's literally what used to happen.
I know. I've lived it. I've lived it. And as I said,
I hate this.
Listen, are there people, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. No, I've been in 4 fist fights in my life.
I've never been in a fight.
All 4 of them were defending a girl. I'm not even joking.
Crying.
Like, seriously, it was, I'll never forget. I remember this. I was in Cambridge, Ontario with 2 wrestlers who are very successful right now, and my girlfriend, and some guy had some comments towards her, and I said, "Do you want to apologize or do you want to keep going?" And he told me to go fuck myself, so I knocked him out. The second time, I was with another girl, and we were at a bar, and a guy was getting very aggressive with her best friend. And I said, "I think you've had too much to drink. You should leave." He pushed me, knocked him out. Another time I was in Nashville, Tennessee, and a friend from Canada flew up because she wanted to make some connections with shows. We were walking into a bar downtown Nashville, and this guy grabbed her by the back of the arm. So I grabbed his arm and said, "Do you want to fuck off?" He said, "No, I don't want to fuck off." And he tried to grab my wrist. So I jerked his arm down and pulled his arm out of the socket.
Oh, wow.
And then the bouncers rushed us in the bar and called the ambulance for him. And then the last one was semi-recent. Family friend's husband hit her, and he was laid out on the front lawn, and the cops were called to arrest him.
Bless you.
And I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
Like, I could have used somebody like you.
Like I just, because to me, like I think that's what frustrates me. I am so against any form of abuse or physicality against a woman. I mean, absolutely against it. Like, if I see it, get the fuck out of my way, because I'm murdering somebody for it. If you hurt a child or a woman, as far as I'm concerned, you are scum. And that, I think, messed me up more, is people saying, it's like, that's not me. I'm a lot of things. But as far as, I'm the one person that, not one person, but I know what you mean. In my realm of people, if you ask anybody who they feel safest around, it's me. Like, there's not a question. Male friends, I asked a friend, I go, we're sitting at a restaurant and a shooter comes in and you can't make the door. Where are you going? Behind you. Where am I going? Probably up against those shooters. I go, yeah, I just have that with people who genuinely know me and genuinely spent time. I've always been that person. If you're with me, you're with me. Meaning friends, family, spouses, whatever. If somebody comes in this circle and tries to throw anybody off, they got to deal with me. Whether you can deal with it for yourself or not, I got your back always. That's just how I've always been in my entire life. And I think that was a big part that like crushed me. It's like, people aren't like that. I've had people say, watch out for this wrestler because he's a piece of shit. And then we're hanging out. I'm like, this guy's great. Like, what are you talking about? This guy's awesome. And it's just like, I like to find everything out for myself, because there might be somebody out there that I did wrong. Not what was said, but I could have, had an attitude. I'm 37. I've been pro wrestling since I was 14. 19-year-old me,
attitudes. Right? I'm sure I look like
19-year-old me was probably a little cocky, probably a little arrogant, probably rubbed some people the wrong way.
Nonsense.
But now I go, man, I shouldn't have done that. Or I told a fake story because it's pro wrestling on the Kevin Steen show, and everybody's like, "Oh, look at you!" And I go, "It's a story. Like, what do you mean?" And people forget pro wrestling is a show.
No, people don't understand. They get confused. It's
like on that interview, it's literally the Kevin Steen show, which is not his real name, featuring Michael Elgin, which isn't my real name.
I was going to say, Prue is my real name.
but you know what I mean? But it's like, yeah, but you're getting a genuine you know what I mean? It's a different feel, because we're not talking about wrestling. And at that time, the biggest podcast in wrestling realm was Colt Cabana's Art of Wrestling, and Truth Martini was telling a bunch of stories, and why do I forget his name? I love the guy. Cliff Compton told a bunch of stories.
That's what you're supposed to do.
And they were like getting so much attention. I was like, oh, I'm going to say some goofy story.
You're supposed to. It's fun.
But no, it's not.
Yes, it is. I've had people do it. AVZ told the stupidest stories. He told stories about like eating people and weird. It was
right, but
it fit.
Right, but it's just not. It's just weird how people act. I don't know.
People are dumb.
They can be. They absolutely can be. And I
can't.
It's just so. the last 4 years have opened my mind so much. Like I see a lot of things differently. Because I was always, I very much tried to take people at face value, and I'm very much the person. I mean, even when I was struggling, I've had friends, hey man, can you lend me $100 for a week? Yeah, I got you. Like, I'll always help out my friends. And then I realized that not everybody is that way. And it's kind of soul crushing. Because there's not a person that I called friend in life that I was ever wouldn't do anything for. And some of them, how they reacted or lack of reaction to certain things, I'm like, I thought we were, I thought I knew you better. It does.
It speaks volumes when they're very quiet. It spoke volumes to me when people were very quiet, when they could have been very vocal about things.
Yep.
It says a lot.
It says a lot. You know what says a lot? A lot of those people I helped get to where they are in wrestling. They would have made it, probably just would have been later than when they made it, because I was really pushing for them. And for them to disrespect me, I think, because they as I said,
it's kind of shirty.
Yeah, right. And as again, I'm not taking credit for any of their success. Their success was moved up a couple years because I was backing for them.
Fair enough.
That's all. And that I think is the most hurtful. Girls too. Like there is a very successful female pro wrestler that after a seminar with me, I just called her and said, hey, we need a girl. You should come do this. Now she's got a job. And I was kind of hurt that she couldn't just say, when I was around him, he was always great to me, never was rude. That's all I needed. And I was very hurt by that.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Because I was never, yeah. But it is what it is. You got to roll with the punches, I guess.
But you say that, but it's
shitty. It's absolutely shitty.
It's awful.
Yeah, it is. But what can I do? I mean, I'm not even going to say their name because it doesn't matter.
Well, no.
And the worst is, I'm genuinely happy for her success because I think she's really talented. Really talented. She deserves all of it.
That was genuinely true.
Yeah, it was. I was, because I'll never forget. She's from far away where I met her. She was in Newfoundland, Canada. And she did a seminar with me, and I was blown away. And then when I found out where she's from, I was like, wait. She's like, I just want to wrestle. And they had a tour out here so I could wrestle all week. So I was really impressed. And then that seminar stuck with me so much that when we were in her town, Impact said, we need a girl tonight. And I called her. Came, tried out, and then she was signed.
Maybe somebody told her to not say something. There's a lot of that I've noticed.
Yeah, there could be. And I know, I don't know. No, it's definitely a save your own ass situation.
Yeah, a lot of politics. People say no politics, but by not playing politics, you're politicking. Like,
it's so ridiculous. It's absolutely absurd.
Like, you guys know that, right? You know what that means.
They don't know it. But it is what it is. What can you do?
I'm just a mark. Just don't listen to me.
No, you're making sense. I'm just like, as I said, it's just like, you can only be let down so much. And I think that was, going back to my wife, it's like, I think that's why it took 9 months to even hold her hand. Is like, I just been let down. I couldn't get let down by another person.
I could,
it was like,
totally
and it took 9 months for me to go, I don't think this one's going to let me down.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, like it's genuinely, I think it just took that time for me to realize. Because I don't know how she fucking stuck around for 9 months. Because I would just be, sometimes I would have to lie even with my back to her. Like I just couldn't, It was nice to know that she was there with me, but at the same time, I was like, I just let me look this way at the TV for a minute. Yeah, it was bad for me. I'm surprised. She just wouldn't give up. Bless her. Yeah,
God bless her heart.
Yeah, for real. She's an angel because she fucking wouldn't give up on me. Just wouldn't quit. Just hanging around. Wouldn't answer a text, and then all of a sudden she'd pull up at the door with my favorite snacks. I'm like, you're too much. Get in here.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, Yeah.
It was sincerely
That's really nice.
Yeah.
That's
really,
showing up for somebody.
For real. And I didn't know her until then.
Aww.
Yeah.
See,
so she's really
so emotional.
No, but seriously, and that's what I mean. It could have fucked up that whole thing. Because anybody else, I don't know. And how do you go, literally, and I mean...
Maybe if she wouldn't have waited 9 months, like only 8, and then like
right.
all those maybes.
Because I mean, all I could imagine now is like, what does she think I thought? Like she just wasn't attractive for 9 months. You know what I mean? Like after it's like, but it's like, no, I was just so crushed. I just couldn't do it. Like I couldn't hold your hand. I couldn't do anything. But in my head, you know, after it's like, oh, I wonder, I hope I didn't make her feel bad.
Yeah.
You know, because...
And I can see that.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Am I like unattractive?
Right, exactly. And I know she's a sweetheart, because even when we started like actually dating, it was like, I hope you know I'm probably never going to get married again. And I'm probably never going to live with anybody again. And I'm never going to have a kid. Now we're married and work together and live together and have a kid on the way. So she, yeah, right. But at first it was... And I even told her that was the first time I really tried to, and I was sincere about it at the time.
Well,
but that's the first time I tried to push away. Is like, so if you want kids, I'm not the like, go away now.
That's fair.
You know, if you want marriage, go away now. She just wouldn't give up on me. So maybe she put a spell on me, and that's why.
Lord have mercy.
Not for real, but
I know.
Yeah. So you know, but as I said, I think looking back, everything happens for a reason. And I'm okay with that. I just hope that everybody catches on and I can do what I love and support my family. Because that's all I want to do. You know, my mom and dad still work. I want to retire them. I want to make sure that my son is good. My soon-to-be daughter is good. That's all I want. And I want to do it doing something I enjoy. Because working sucks if you don't enjoy what you do.
This is working. Jesus Lord.
But it doesn't feel like work. Right? Like, it just doesn't. Because I enjoy it so much. So I don't care.
Well, but I want that too, because I think that'd be pretty freaking...
I mean, I lived literally a lifelong dream for 15 years. I started making a living in 2008. I'm just scraping by, don't get me wrong. I was doing great in 2008. I didn't start making good money until 2010, but...
It still counts.
Yeah, but I was only solely wrestling since 2008.
Even if you were an author and only selling like the 1 book a year, you're still an author, right. Even if you ain't making shit. Right. Yeah.
So, but I was making enough to survive, and you know, until recently, it's all I ever did for work. And it was a passion project, and when you put passion into something, it's big. And you know, I'm sure I could find something else I'm passionate about. But fuck, throwing away literally 37 years.
I feel like you're really like, you eat, breathe, sleep.
I do. That's the problem. I mean, that's why I've contemplated quitting. Is because I can't. If it's not feeding my family, it's taking time away from my family. You know? And I can't do that again. Because I took time away from my son for many years for this.
You did. You were feeding your family.
I was. I'll just leave it at that. I was. I thought I was doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Clearly I wasn't. But regardless, you know, I'm not willing to do that again. I'm not willing to, you know, crushes me sometimes when I'm like, and Jax was like, Dad, how many birthdays did you miss? Fuck.
Aww.
You know?
Oh, that
well, let's just say that's not coming from him, but.
Well, no. No, it never would.
No, listen, it's.
Look, my ex-husband was a POS.
Yeah.
But my children didn't realize he was a POS. They figured it out by themselves. I didn't tell them that.
I know. Listen, I know what but that's the problem. You don't need
to be that kind of
mother. But that's the problem is I've tried to have that conversation, and I don't want to talk, listen, it's just mother of my son. This is me I'm saying that. I think in the heat of the moment, some people don't know how to react. And I think she's so used to me being so busy that she didn't think I had enough time and love to give to our son. And I think that's where the problems come from. I don't think she's intentionally doing anything. I shouldn't say that. I don't think it started with intention.
Okay.
But I think it grew to much far worse. Mm-hmm. But that's stuff I can't talk about until I have clearance on a couple of things. But, you know, as I said, it's just a weird thing because I don't understand even that dynamic in life, because what my ex should know is that she's the mother of my son. If she called me right now, I'm not wrestling tomorrow. I'm getting in my car and I'm driving back home and dealing with whatever they need dealt with, because her safety and her protection is equally as important to my son's life as my protection towards him. And some women don't understand that.
Wow.
Think about it. That's his mother. He can't live without his mother. So why, I mean, if she calls, she doesn't realize, she calls me at 3 a.m. and she's never done it, but because she doesn't know she can't, even though I've told her. 3 a.m., you call me. I'm telling my wife, yeah, that's my son. My son's, if it's a night, then my son's not with me and he's at his mother's and she's having a problem. Anything without her involved in his life puts him in some kind of risk or danger, whether that be further advanced, losing a mother at a young age or whatever, it can't be good for anybody.
All right.
So her life is equally as important to me as my son's life, and that you cannot get that across to some people when they're too far gone.
All right.
Well, I mean,
that speaks volumes.
Well, you can't wish ill upon somebody, as I said.
Well,
you can, but to me, what I mean by that is, if somebody says, "Oh man, what's going on with you and your ex?" All that matters was we were one time so madly in love that we produced this amazing child. That's all I need to think about, because nothing else is worth it. Nothing else. And I mean, I went through I don't need to defend myself in that, because it's not, people make comments because they think they know things. I have a million reasons to be frustrated and angry with my son's mother. With my son's mother alone.
With anything.
I hold on to none of that, because what good does that do our son? When I look at her, when I look at him, all I think is, man, this beautiful boy was born because we had a relationship. That's beautiful to me. But it's going to take more time for her to understand that, and I'm okay with that. I'm in for the long haul. That's my kiddo. He's my world. He's not. That's why I like wrestling. Was I could afford. The best way I can put it is, I always wanted to give my son the opportunity to do what he wanted rather than what he needed. A lot of people are not happy in life because they do what they need to survive.
Yeah.
Doing good in wrestling and having money in the bank to give him the option to do what he wants to do is so much greater than anything else.
That would be a wonderful thing to give your child.
Yeah, and who knows what he wants to do, but we often have to, how many stories are there out there that people had to give up on their dreams because they had to live in reality, right? Well,
Very often.
I couldn't chase that dream because I couldn't afford to pay bills for my family that way.
Yeah.
I never wanted my son to feel that way. Don't want my daughter to feel that way. I don't want my wife to feel that way. And people just don't understand that. Like, I even told her, the biggest pain is like, I love this woman so much, and I can't do the same things for her I was able to do for another woman in my past. Like, that upsets me that I can't do that for her. And she's like, but I like working. I go, that's not the point. That's not the point. The point is, if you don't want to, you don't have to. That is what's important to me, because life sucks.
Yeah, it does.
Right? Even wrestling, as beautiful it is, tired all the time, sore all the time.
I can imagine.
Busy all the time. As I said,
gone all the time.
Oh, I didn't even see my son's first steps. Didn't hear his first words. Had to ask to leave for Japan late to be there for his first birthday. And I made a lot of sacrifices. But as I said, sometimes it's hard to see the forest through the trees. And sometimes I think those sacrifices are looked at from the eye of, that's self-serving. And it's not. Meaning, the one thing I will say, I remember having a discussion about my son, and it was said, well, yeah, but you always wanted to wrestle. I did since I was 14. I didn't know what it was like to be a father till I was 2050. So how could I know? But at that point, I was providing for my family. I'm not going to give up and go do something else when I'm making 6 figures doing this. And she
that
cannot,
would just be stupid,
right?
honestly.
His mother didn't have to work. He got what he needed. Everybody got what they needed. It was perfect. But then it's looked at, well, it doesn't matter because, that's self-serving. You're doing that because you love it. Yeah, I started it because I love it. I started it because I love it, but I do it now because it helps out the people around me, Like,
you can't love it too?
Right. Well, it's like, people don't realize, my grandma died and I sent money home to make sure that everything was taken care of. My aunt died, I did the same thing. Like, because I was put in a position that was better off than the majority of my family. So anything I can do to help them, that's my family. They made me who I am. Every aunt, uncle, cousin, all them. They, if I could win the lottery tomorrow, they'd all never have to work a day in their life. Because without them, think about it. I literally went through, all my cousins made me love wrestling.
All right.
Their parents allowed them to become wrestling fans. They're my aunts and uncles. Those are my cousins. So if I could pay it back for the life that they've given me, love to do it. Love to do it. Love that my mom doesn't have to go to the fucking Legion and serve drinks to people all the time. Or my stepdad doesn't have to run a fucking mechanic shop anymore. I would love to let them just enjoy life. But that's not in the cards right now. I think it will be. I think the truth always comes out, and I think the cream always rises to the top, and I really feel that right now my mind has never been sharper when it comes to wrestling, whether it's an agent job or performing. I would love to just go to Raw and do what I did before the show here and tell people finishes and stuff.
Shit, you'd improve the show tremendously.
I think I would at least add to it.
Oh, yeah.
So even if it's a backstage role, just doing something I love and I'm passionate about, and make sure that my children and my wife are happy, and my ex too. Like, I don't think people understand how good people generally react. And I also think there's a difference between a nice person and a good man. Nice person will be fake to you, so you tell everybody they're nice, and a good man will stick up for what he believes in, and I'll always stick up for what I believe in. And that's going to rub some people the wrong way, because not everybody's going to believe in what I believe in.
There's a difference between nice and kind.
Yes, but there's also a difference between nice and good. Yeah.
And you are kind and good.
I appreciate that. I try to be. As I said, there's definitely been times.
I'm not saying you're kind to everyone.
No, not.
You've been kind to me.
Now I'm pretty kind to everyone.
I don't care about them.
But I mean that, like, now it's kind of like, as you age, you see things for what they really are. And when you go through life experience, you see things for what you are. And you start to realize, like, oh, this person is not being an asshole to me because they don't like me. They're going through something, and this is the only way they know how to deal with it. Leave them alone. Often it's what it is. It's never.
It is. Yeah.
Like, I think a lot of the things with me is people wanted to hate somebody. And because I gave them so many reasons to like me, it's like, let's just turn it on a dime with them. It's like, okay, if that's what makes you sleep at night, I'm okay with not being liked by everyone. I'm not okay with people taking food out of my kid's mouth. That's
See, and I'm just not okay about people not listening to the truth.
I mean, yeah.
I have issues with people. And I'll reiterate, nobody could specify why you were, because I'm an asker of questions. Right. And when somebody said you're dangerous, and why is he dangerous? He's just be careful. Well, I'm here alone in this room, and my husband is like way far away. I don't feel like you're dangerous right now.
I don't think
at all, actually.
I don't think so. But, but as I said, that always comes, everybody who has told you that, other than probably a few who are two-faced fucks and I know who you are,
sorry,
don't think I don't know who you are, because there's plenty of you. I'm not going to do anything, but just know I know. So if you said something, I know. The majority of the people that say these things have never met me, never had an interaction with me. So they don't know. They don't know. It just comes from, I read this online, so he must be a bad person. That's all.
You're very, I don't know, you're not stern. You have a firm voice. You're a manly man.
But I think, because also I know that if I wanted to be intimidating, I can be intimidating.
Oh, you definitely could be intimidating.
What's the point? Because if you lead by fear, the people will turn against you.
All right, fair.
If you lead by respect, people will fight for you.
Fair.
So why wouldn't you want to garner respect rather than fear?
I would rather have people like me. I wouldn't want people scared of me.
You know what? I don't even care about respect.
Respect.
Yeah, respect is different. I can,
right.
like, I can, even when in sports, it's like, I don't really like LeBron James. I respect the hell out of his game and what he's accomplished. I'm an MJ guy. I'm 37. I'm going to be an MJ guy for the rest of my life. Jordan's the GOAT. But I don't personally like LeBron James as a basketball player because I don't know him personally. But I respect the hell of what he's done.
All right.
And I think that's more valuable to him in his career because if somebody goes, man, I love LeBron, respect him. That's all that needs to be said.
All right. Fair enough.
Yeah,
that's a very good distinction. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, it's just, but whatever. It is what it is. Life is life, and we're all going to live until we don't anymore.
That's true.
So, yeah.
I feel like it's nicer if we're nicer to each other.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I think. Like, what does it hurt to just be kind? Like, I don't know.
Not a damn thing.
No. It's so stupid. So stupid.
Please don't ever mistake my kindness for weakness, however.
But it's like sometimes I feel like I'm over polite in certain situations because I know how shitty people, like, especially at restaurants. Like, I don't order something without saying please and thank you. Like, everything. May I please get another Diet Coke? Okay, thank you for the Diet Coke.
As
May
a
I please get this?
Worker, I appreciate
right? Because I see how evil people are.
They're
and it's
so
like,
bad.
yeah, and why? Why is what? Just shut the fuck up.
It's like,
that's all you got to do. Sometimes the answer in life is shut the fuck up. That's it. That's like the easiest answer. And too many people don't know when to shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
it's like, why? It's like, you got to, this is just time to shut the fuck up. Yep. It's a beautiful thing sometimes.
I agree so much.
But again, I think we just grow up as I said, I grew up with Eddie Murphy, Raw and Delirious. So, have a Coke and a smile and shut the fuck up is like my favorite line of all time.
I watched that.
They're great. I like them. Could you do them now? No, absolutely not.
Oh my God, no.
But if you watch it and understand the climate at the time, you can enjoy stuff. Like, it's like, you couldn't make American Pie today.
I've never seen that.
You couldn't make Porky's today.
Oh God, no.
But if you watch it back then, it's hilarious. You know what I mean?
It's very raunchy.
Absolutely.
It's very raunchy.
Are you kidding me when the principals send to the coach that will just have a lineup of tallywhackers to see whose junk she was pulling through the shower? It's a classic scene. It's so funny to me. But you can't do that now, and I understand that. But if you can appreciate something for the time, just appreciate it for the time. No, hey man, it's not culturally right to say these things or to do these things. And that's fine. But to not be able to enjoy it for the time is wild to me. Because the climate's changed and things are different. Should anybody ever be disrespected or undervalued or not valued at all because of their race, gender, or sexuality? No, not one little bit. But when you can't go back and see that the jokes about it back then were fitting because look at all the people in the crowd laughing. It was funny back then. Now, if I watch it now, I don't laugh like I watched it when I was 12 years old or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's a different, I don't even watch it anymore. But I used to watch it and I used to enjoy it. But now I feel like you can't even say, oh, I like that when I watched it. What are you, homophobe? No?
But would you call it out if somebody did that kind of thing in front of you? Like, if it wasn't okay?
What do you mean?
I'm trying to think of something super offensive.
Well, first, is it a comedy or is it somebody saying something out of pocket offensive?
That.
I don't stand for that.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't stand for things you wouldn't say to somebody to their face. I don't stand for saying anything derogatory about people. If I'm in a room with people and somebody's saying something, I leave or tell them to shut the fuck up and don't talk like that in my presence. Because if you're bad talking my friend and I don't stick up for him, I'm not his friend or her friend.
My friends are always in the room with me.
But you know what I mean? Like, you can't, if I allow somebody to do this, I'm just as bad as them if I don't tell them to shut up and talk about it when I'm not here, or if I don't leave the room. Because if you, one, don't feel comfortable talking poorly about somebody that I care about in my presence. Because I grew up, as I said, I grew up in a different time. Disrespect is the biggest no-no in my world. Disrespect will do, that's where the cutoff goes. You know, I don't be violent with people, but it's okay. I got you on Facebook, blocked. I got you on Twitter, blocked. I got your phone number, blocked. We have no line of communication ever again.
I mean, I have different criteria, but that's what it came down to. The situation we were talking about, it's disrespect. Yep. And I don't like to be disrespected. You took a thing and you disrespected me, and you disrespected my family, and I don't. That's not how I was raised.
It's not how I was. Whatever. As I said, and it's funny because the things I've like in life, make sense to me. Like when people make fun of the Fast series about like Vin Diesel talking about family, I'm like, are you kidding me?
It's kind of sweet.
I love it. I love it. I absolutely.
Like
are you kidding me? My favorite thing is inviting people over just to sit outside and have food.
I love
Come over, let's have a barbecue. Everybody come over, let's just hang out, eat, have a couple beers, do whatever. Just be family.
My friend Trisha's family used to do that when we were growing up. I loved it.
It's so, as I said, there's so many people just saying, doing, acting so silly in this world when it's so easy just to enjoy yourself and let other people enjoy them. So unless they're harming somebody. If they're harming somebody, okay, interject. But fuck, man,
life is too short.
It really is. It really is. It really is. But that's, whatever. People are going to be people. And not everybody's the same. So what can you do?
Not have them buy you. That's what I'm.
Yeah. The one thing I do enjoy, I kind of enjoy, is knowing somebody is lying and knowing somebody has said some things and still acting to their face like I know nothing. I want to see how far I can get them on the I love you, man, good to see you, stuff like, oh, okay. I like that.
I can't do it.
I can in certain people.
Can't do it.
I can do it with certain people because I like it, because I know, I know, and they think they got one over on me. I know everything that's said because people don't realize how many.
You're so much nicer
many
than
people I've liked.
I know you. Like we talked.
Right.
Like I'm not in the like this isn't the first time we've met, was today. Like we've
well, this isn't the first time we met today.
No, like this this is the first time. Like
we've talked on Facebook.
Yes, we've talked before. We've spoken before, but we've only met today. But you're so much nicer than I'd even expected.
I like to think so, but
I'm sorry, I don't mean to be so shocked.
No. Well, it's fine because we, as you said, this is the first time we met.
The energy is different in person.
Yeah, I think that's always with human communication. Text messages, phone calls, all that kind of stuff can get misconstrued, misinterpreted. But face to face, you can tell. I feel you can tell when somebody's genuine.
You can,
right? Like you can tell
if you trust your gut. Yes,
you can really tell, and I think that's why I like wrestling so much. Is like I can tell who's got passion and who doesn't.
You can,
and I gravitate towards all the people I see with passion. And I'm okay if somebody that I feel doesn't have passion asks me a question. I'm not going to not answer them, but I'm not going to go out of my way to help those people.
Fair enough.
So. Yeah.
Is it almost midnight? Oh my goodness gracious.
All right. Take care.
Yes. Thank you so much.
No, my pleasure. Thank you. Oh yeah, it is. Good night.